Check. Check. What up, infidels? Another week, another Brown. You know what it is. Good to see y'all. I'm doing this from the studio, my AKA my apartment. But on Sunday, I'm gonna try filming from another place with like a little co-host that I met randomly at a show, and we will see how that goes. Just trying new things, trying to expand the Brown, see what happens. Thank you for joining me again. If you're one of the new listeners who listened to me at that show where the crowd sucked and I turned it around, good to see y'all. This is just it. For those of you who don't know, it's just me ranting and working out jokes and just figuring out. Sometimes just through talking, I figure out a new joke, and then you just sort of try to figure it out. So let me tell you what I did this week. I went on a boat. I went on Lake Travis. I went on a boat to Lake Travis for the first time. Did boat stuff. I'm not usually a boat stuff guy, but I went out and did boat stuff. And I jumped off a cliff. 30 to 35 feet. The Captain Dean Stanfield, didn't quite know how big it was. He knew it was either 30 or 35. So that was crazy, dude. First of all, we had to swim from the boat to the place to jump off the cliff. Right, and the swim was a lot tiring than I thought it would be, because I had been swimming the weekend before. I was swimming at my cousin's place in the swimming pool, and I was one of the stronger swimmers in the family, so I was like, I'll make the swim easy, and I spent so much energy getting there that I was tired, and a part of me was like, oh, bro, how am I going to even make the swim back to the boat? That's how far it was, right? But I made it, and then I rested at the bottom of the cliff for a little while. I had to get my energy back because the swim back, so the starting point of the climb up the cliff is far from the boat, but when you finally jump from the cliff back to the boat, it's actually pretty close. So I climbed up and I got to the top of the cliff, and bro, that shit looked scary. Like 30 feet up in the air. Maybe from far away, it doesn't look that far, but when you're up there, you're like, oh, this shit is nuts. It was nuts. And, you just, in that situation, bro, you just got to count to 3 and jump off. You just got to count to 3 and jump off. And that is exactly what I did. I counted 3 and I jumped, and I fell so fast. And first of all, you're falling for 30 feet. You're falling longer than you think. So I try to position my body so that I land like straight in the water, to avoid any kind of pain, right? And so I tried to jump straight in, but I was falling so long that I overcorrected and I kind of flew ass first into the water. And that hurt. That hurt. And then you fall so far down that when you're coming back straight for air, you're swimming back higher than you expected. You're just like, because you're not higher than you expect. You're like, because you're deeper than you expect. So you're coming up for air. You're like, damn, I'm still up for air. Never panic. I never was close to like panic amount for up in air, underwater, but I was there. I was in there. And then I doggy paddled back to the ship. I was going to float. I was going to swim, but then the impact of the water, like my body in the water had messed with that. I couldn't take like I couldn't like kick normally. Cause it was just like, I think I'm still bruised from it a little bit. There's like a little bit of pain from the area that I landed in. I looked at my arm because I had a bruise last week in my arm from swimming around with my cousins. I looked to see if it was gone. It's gone. My skin, I don't know if you can see, my skin is all red because I forgot to reapply the sunscreen. I got sunburned. Second time in my life. First 2 hours was fine. Second 2 hours, I should have reapplied. So I forgot. Usually not out on the lake that long. But, man, I jumped off a cliff. You know what's crazy? I jumped off a cliff, and that night, I go to a show, right? And I'll probably make a clip out of this and put it on TikTok and Instagram. But then I went to a show at Peckerheads, and the audience was dead silent. For like pretty much everyone I saw, just dead. One of the weirdest, not great audiences I've ever seen. And I go up on stage, and I feel like I'm going to bomb. I go up on stage, and I just talk about how I jumped up, like that earlier that day, I jumped off a cliff. And if I'm being honest, I'm more nervous to perform in front of this audience than I was to jump off that cliff. Because at least the cliff was more responsive. That's what I said. And it got a laugh, and then it flipped the room. But I was thinking that that's how tough that audience was. That the only way for them to be cracked is 6 hours earlier, I had to jump off a cliff. If I hadn't done that, who would have known if I would have cracked them? That's how hard comedy is sometimes. And that goes to show you, like, for any young comics out there, like, life experience is so incredibly necessary. Like, it's not usually a one-to-one translation like that, where it's like, oh, if I hadn't jumped off that cliff, then I don't know if I would have cracked him. Like, that's crazy how the math worked out in that situation. But it's true. I needed to jump off that cliff to crack that crowd. That was unreal. Unreal. There's a picture of me driving that boat. But yeah, this is my post-cliff life, dude. Post-cliff jumping life, man. The confidence. I'm so much more confident. Man, once you jump off a cliff, you know you can. It's a big mind over matter thing. It's like, man, the confidence. I believe in myself more. I feel like I'm more of a man. Isn't that crazy? I feel like more of a man because I jumped off a cliff. Life is weird like that sometimes, man. Life is weird. Jumped off a goddamn cliff. Yeah, a bucket list item, check. Check that bucket list. Check that item off the bucket list. Because that shit was insane in the membrane. That shit was nuts, dude. Man, sorry. I just got lost. I got lost thinking about the set. That silence you heard there was me thinking about the set. It's just like, damn. That's what it takes sometimes, bro. You got to jump off a cliff. And like metaphorical or like, you just got, you know what it is? So I talked about this as far as the time. Me and Derek have talked about this as far as the timeline of comedy. When you start doing comedy, there is this point where you have got to hit every mic that you possibly can. You have to hit every mic as fast as you can. As much as you can. Just reps. Mics. Just learning how to be on stage, learning how to push energy, learning how to write a joke. You know, there is a big difference between like what you think is funny and writing an actual joke, right? And so especially when you're young in the game, you just gotta get those reps in to get your sea legs. It's like getting your sea legs. It's like boot camp. Just do it, just as much as you can. When you don't want to go to mics, that's the best time to go to mics. That's grinding right there. That's the definition of grinding. When everything in your soul tells you to not go, and you go and you're pushing against what would be more comfortable, that's what grinding is. That's the definition. That's when you feel like you're grinding. It's like, oh, I didn't want to be here, and I'm here, and I'm grinding. And ironically, those sets where you don't want to go tend to be some of your best. And that's how I know. When I really don't want to go to a mic, I'm like, oh, I should go. But yeah. So what was the overall plan? Oh yeah. So there was a time where you need to go to every mic possible. But once you reach the point where you know the basics and you kind of have a grasp on like, I've finally reached the stage now where I don't need to, like, I can work out some jokes on the podcast where I don't need to take it to an open mic to know whether or not it sounds funny to me or how to make it sound. Like, now I can more or less know how I want the joke to sound before I even take it to stage. Whether or not it stays in the act is a whole different story. Whether or not it's actually funny enough to be in the act is a whole different story. But if I can frame the thought in my mind where I don't need to go on stage. It's not no brag. It's just man, I've been doing it for almost 10 years. That's just kind of the skill that you gain when you've been doing it that long. And so now I'm at the point where I gotta have life experience. Like, yo, if I didn't go cliff diving, or if I didn't jump off that cliff, I didn't die. If I jumped. I jumped out there. If I didn't do that, bro, I don't know if I would have turned that crowd. It's life experience. Life experience. That's what that, so I'm kind of at that stage in my career. It's like, I need to have some life experience. Man, oh man. All right. Let's work on some thoughts that I've had over the past week or so. All right. So, this is okay. First of all, this is my impression. This is for people who are only on YouTube. But this is my impression of an Indian man who needs to open his phone using facial recognition. This is my impression of an Indian man who needs to open his phone using facial recognition. I'll use the camera as my phone. Ready? That's it. That's the entire impression. It's just, I have two stupid. The second, I don't think I've ever done my second impression for you, right? My second impression is this is my impression of DJ Khaled if he had less confidence. This is DJ Khaled if he had less confidence. All right, ready? All right, hold on. I'm going to do this one more time. This is DJ Khaled with less confidence. Ready? We trying our best music. I hope you guys wouldn't mind another one, but only if you want. That's DJ Khaled with less confidence. Those are the only two impressions I got. But yeah, that's it. That's an Indian man opening his phone using facial recognition. This is the dumbest joke of all time. Is it the dumbest joke of all time? Yes. Am I happy about it? Absolutely. Will it work on stage? We'll see. I'll try it today. I'll try it today. All right. So that's that. So funny. All right, this is the bisexual joke. Ready for this? I am a bisexual, and by that I mean I have bought a lot of sex primarily from women. Actually, exclusively from women, not primarily. Only from women. Oh my God, big prostitute guy in my 20s. That's how the joke starts, and then I talk about, I do all my prostitute jokes. Sorry, Mom. You know what it is? I had a call with my mom because, there was a video that, first of all, great joke. But there's a video where, I'm getting high with my friends, obviously. Because I got high with my friends. We were watching Andrew Schultz special. I got a little too high. I got paranoid. Just had just living in my head during the special. And I talked about it on my reaction video that Derek made. And my mom saw it and she got mad. She's like, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe, And it's like, man, you know what it is? Because it's like, I like getting high every once in a while. I got to be honest with it because I want to talk about it on stage. I'm trying to be truly honest. I'm trying to be an artist. I'm not trying to be some brown guy that hides shit from his parents. And then there's, no, dude. I am an artist, and this is who I am. I am showing you who I am. I'm being honest. And that's, with brown parents, that's a crazy thing to do. If she was, because my career hasn't launched yet, so she's understandably like, are you on the right path? And it's like, I definitely feel like I am. But, she's talking about, look at all these other people in our culture. And I was like, Ma, you don't even know what the kids that I like that are in my community are getting up to right now. Half of them are degenerate alcoholics. I told her that too. Would you rather be like me, who's being honest and trying to be an artist, or would you rather just me be a doctor and then just lie to you constantly? You know what I mean? There is a give and take to all of this. There's a give and take to all of this. It doesn't help that I have a wholesome family. My family is very wholesome, but I'm talking about the kids in the bed, the Bengali community around me, where I grew up, and I imagine everywhere else. I've seen them. At least I'm being honest, but maybe that's not the right play. Maybe the right play is to continue to lie to them. I will say this, when you lie to them, there's way less stress. Cuz then they could just fill the gaps about you that they have in their head with like wholesome stuff. But like, no, I'm very honest and I let people, I try, I've been told many times, maybe I should curse less, maybe I should, but it's like, man, I'm trying to be me. And it's working. I'm getting, this is the first time in my life now that I'm getting recognized in the street kind of regularly. Like it happens like once or twice a month now. Used to never happen. Now once or twice. It's, things are moving on up. But yeah. I told that to my mom. Would you rather me be a doctor but with like a secret coke addiction or just me how I am? Just super honest with you. Which is a crazy thing to say to your parents. Now, sorry, Mom, but I should wear my haram hat. No, I can't wear a hat indoors. It's too much. But yeah, that's why I thought that bisexual joke is like, oh, my mom's going to hear that and she's going to be so mad. But I'm talking about, and you know what's crazy? I'm definitely not the only brown guy that has had an experience like that. Bro, I will say this. People connect. Especially now as the world is getting harder and like the world is heating up and more like more of like people's glossy exteriors matter less because the world's a little more dire. People are going to appreciate this realness. I think. That's why I keep doing it. Because I could feel it. There's something that I can feel. I don't tune to and I trust it. I trust it with everything. I jumped 2 feet in. Like the cliff, bro. Like me jumping off the cliff into that water was me jumping in 2 feet into this comedy thing. And I'm falling. But I'm sure I'm going to hit that water soon. And when I come up for air, it'll be glorious. And I'll feel different. I feel it. It's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't get mad at my parents for being like, where's the results? Because like I'm 29, right? So like 29, if you went off to be a doctor and shit, you'd be mad shit. You'd be doing residency, I guess. You'd be doing something. You'd be making money. If I was a dentist, I'd be working at a practice right now, making money. And it's hard. How do you explain to people who don't really get art that time is the only factor now? I work hard, put out clips, do what I got to do, but time is the only factor now. Russell Peters was living on his brother's futon till he was 35 years old. Now one of the richest comics of all time. It's just time. It's just time. And I'm willing to wait. And I'm willing to put in the work. But I get what, because they're brown too, so they're not used to someone taking this path. I do have a theory that brown people are super short because of the weight of our parental expectations. Like they're just holding us down. Like we can't grow when we're too busy worried about getting A's and like a perfect on the SAT. Like all that stress can't be helpful to a growing boy. This is a theory that I have. Because we are shorter than average. Same thing with Chinese people. Shorter than average. It's just the parental pressure is just so much. You can grow to be 6 feet when you can call your parents by their first name. You know what I mean? When you be like, shut up, Debbie and Chad or whatever. You tell them that, then you're free to grow 6 feet. You're unbound by constraints. This is a theory. Is it that it's the weight of our parental expectations, or is it genetics? If I had to guess, it's probably the expectation thing. Genetics. What does that have to do with anything? Fucking scientists using their voodoo science on us. Scientists and their voodoo ass science. Speaking of scientists, this new COVID variant is burning through the country. couple family members caught it because of the family vacation. It happens. It's going to happen. Bunch of people in one place, new variant spreading, densely populated New York City. Someone was bound to get it. But, and everyone's safe, thank God. That's why I can say what I'm about to say. I don't know. I'm not afraid at all of the new COVID variant, at all. First one, they got me. The fear got me. The Alpha, I was like, oh God, this is real. Second one, Delta, I was like, okay, this seems a little more real. But third one, Omicron, I was like, okay, I don't know how serious this is now. Omicron, I've never even heard of Omicron. You're just making that up. I've heard of Delta and Alpha before. Omicron? And now it's called like BA.5. It's like, bro, I can't be afraid of a variant that you ain't gonna name. You're not even giving it a name. BA.5? That ain't gonna scare me. That tells me it's not that serious. Because if it was serious, it would have a name. It'd be like Omega or some shit, right? Iota. Sigma. These are the other Greek letters that I know. You know what I told myself? I'm not gonna be scared of COVID again until they name one like Todd. If there's like a Todd variant, I'd be like, oh shit, they're naming this after hurricanes now? This is real. They gotta start giving COVID hurricane names for me to be like, oh, this is like dangerous. But now, bro, when they say it's like the flu, I'm not saying it is the flu, because that's like a whole thing. But it's like the flu, man. It's just something that humans are gonna have to live with. So why not get it? I don't know. I've never gotten it, as far as I know, knock on wood. I must have had it like asymptomatically though, because I live in Texas. There's no way. But never in the 2 years since COVID has been a thing, never had a bad cough, never had a fever. Texas, the allergies are loud here, so I've had like terrible allergies, and maybe one of them might have been COVID, but like never the two tall tale signs of it, Never the cough, never the fever. So maybe I never got it, but like either way, I kind of wish I did get it from the family reunion, just to be like, because I got a vaccine and one booster. I think I'm done with the boosters, but like, I feel like at this point with a vaccine and a booster, I feel like some natural immunity would help sort of bring it all together. You gotta get some of that natural immunity going for sure. For sure. I'm just looking at stuff I want to do. I don't know. You know what's funny? Pre-Cliff Jump Hassan would have never been like. Pre-Cliff Jump Hassan would be like, I'll just get whatever boosters they tell me to get, because whatever. But post-Cliff Jump Hassan means like, bro, I got to be strong. I'm jumping off cliffs here. I can't be weak jumping off cliffs. I can't be weak. This is Cliff Jump Hassan. This ain't no normal guy no more. I'm out here, trying to function, I guess. I don't know. You gotta, bro. That's gotta be a thing you gotta do. If you're young enough, you gotta jump off a cliff. Not a small one. Even 20 feet into some water. Just gotta jump up. There's something about the feeling of falling and the feeling of letting go, and then the overcoming that and being like back up above the surface. Like there's something like think about it, like metaphorically, figuratively, like the idea of letting go and then still being able to come up for air afterwards. Letting yourself fall and coming up for air is such a valuable lesson to learn in life. It's such a valuable lesson to learn in life. To experience a fall and to get back up is huge. I metaphorically felt it during COVID when I feel like I lost everything. And I'm still sort of clawing my way out of it right now. We've talked about this for long-time listeners. Out of the ashes rises a phoenix. I used to say this all the time when I was at my parents' place. It's an important thing to know, that you can fall and get back up. And sometimes doing it physically is just as important. And then you get out of that water, and I got back on the boat. And I was tired. I had to lay down. It was like mentally exhausting and physically exhausting. But I was like, I fucking did it. I did it. So important. So important. Man, I was just thinking about Jack Knight. I don't know. For those of you who don't know, Jack Knight was a comedian. I knew him well. I knew him. I didn't say I knew. Let's not say I knew him well. I don't, because I don't want to. When someone dies, people act like they were best friends with the person who died a lot of the times. I don't want to do that. But it's a brother. It's a comedian brother. And it was self-inflicted. Just a moment in time that, man, we can't ever change. That actually happened the day before I cliff dived. Cliff jumped. Sad. It messed me up. I thought at first I was going to be sad. And then it was like, man, when it really hit me, because I got the text, and then when it really hit me, I was like, oh, man. Like, I cried. I hung out with this guy a couple times outside of comedy. He was a star. Jack Knight was going to be a famous person. You guys were going to know who he was. Man. So young. He's 28 years old. A year younger than me. It's the shitty part about comedy, man. It's the fourth friend of mine to effectively kill themselves. I'm not even 30. This game is hard. This game is long. But Jack was poised to good things, man. He was. I wish he had jumped off the cliff before he had done, like, into the water with us the night before. Because he would have been like, damn, no matter how deep you get, you always can come back up for air. You always can come back up for air, man. Always, always, always. No matter how far the fall, no matter how deep you feel like you're in the water, man. Shit's wild, bro. That's why I did it, too. It's like, man, this friend took his own life. I got to live mine. You only get one time. You only get one go around on this thing, man. You got to do the things that other people won't do. Things that are fun. Things that, like, valuable life lessons, man. That cliff was a lot, dude. That cliff was, it really represented a lot. Like, metaphorically. It's just like, damn, we're choosing to do this right now. After we had this friend make an ultimate choice. It's great at comedy, dude. Great at comedy and successful. And you think that just because someone's successful and just because someone is higher, doing better than you, that you think that they're doing better than you mentally because they're doing better to you on the outside or career-wise. And, man, you just don't know the struggles that people go through. You really don't. You really don't. It's awful, man. It's just like, damn, bro, you didn't have to do that. You were underwater and the air was right there, probably. It was right there. But I don't know. Maybe you didn't feel that way. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you don't know. You can't really be in someone's mind. You know, and like, we weren't, like I said, we weren't close friends. We would see each other around the store all the time. But, like, damn. You know what? It does suck. Because it was the type of thing where, like, if we had ran out into each other on the road, it would have been all love. You know what I mean? Like, oh, shit, Jack. Oh, shit, it's just, like, in some Minneapolis or some shit. You know what I mean? like you do with comics all the time. Like bro, I thought I'd be crossing paths with this guy for like the next 50 years. Next 50 years, bro. The air is closer than you think. If you're underwater now, the air is closer than you think. You just fell from maybe a little higher than you expected. Maybe a little higher than you wanted to. Maybe you fell from a little higher than it looked. So you're underwater a little deeper than you thought you would be. But the air is there. Just keep going and keep calm. Just keep going and keep calm. You don't need to make no decision that affects your life like that. Just keep calm and go forward, and the air will be there. No matter how fucked up it seems now, the air will be there. I don't know who I'm telling this for. Is it for you? Hopefully it's for you. Hopefully, man, this reaches someone that it needs to reach. Hopefully this reaches someone that it needs to reach. That's all. If one person hears this and goes, the air is there. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. Hopefully this reaches someone that it needs to reach. Jump off a cliff into water. Not like to fucking end your life. Jump off a cliff into water, man. Put a lot of stuff into perspective for me. The air is there, man. Just seeing my friends who are like he's close friends with a lot of my friends, just seeing them hurt, man. Thinking of what, like, man, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about it. I don't want to like, say that I'm using this for, try to appear like I'm using this for clout or nothing like that, because I'm not going to make a clip of this. It's just, it happened to me this weekend, and it's been dominating my thoughts. It hurts every time. You would think by the fourth time a friend did it, you'd be like, you get a little used to it, but you really don't. You really, 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 really don't. Just people that were pillars in my life, just gone. The air is there, man. No matter how far deep in the water you think you are, you'll get there. Just remind yourself that. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Finding Dory, bro. Pixar. Pixar's on some life shit, dude. Or Finding Nemo. One of Finding Dory. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. That shit is real, dude. Just keep swimming. So, if you haven't talked to your more successful friend in a while, reach out to him. Say hello, man. You don't know what they're going through. Success is relative, right? You look at someone and they're at the peak, and you're like, wow, that guy's at the peak, but you don't know his vantage point. You don't know that there's another peak next to him. That's what life is. Life is like, you ever been climbing a hill, and then you see a peak, and you're like, oh, that'll be the top of the hill, and you get to that peak, and there's an even bigger peak behind it. That's what life is. There's never a real peak, because the second you hit one peak, oh, shit, there's another peak behind it. I didn't see that. Until you're at the top. And that second half of the climb might be steeper than the first half of the climb. But the people at the bottom of the first half are looking at the guy at the middle like, wow, he made it to the top of the peak, not knowing that there's an even steeper climb after that. That's life, dude. So, man, just check on your friends. Make sure they're doing good. Make sure they're doing good. But life's hard, man. Life's hard. Maybe he thought in like 3 years we'd all be fighting for water, and he was like, I'm out. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. That's all you got to do is keep swimming. You jump off that cliff, son. Jump off that cliff. Those are two competing advices when you think about it, but like, if you guys have listened this far, you get what I'm saying, man. Go to your local cliff diving spot, a spot where people go, and then jump off that cliff. If you're a good enough swimmer and you're kind of young, I mean, it did hurt. Like I said, I fell on my ass. So like, it's not like I can't sit, but there's one, if I sit in a certain angle, then I feel it a little bit. It's almost like a bruise. It's not painful. It's not like I have to get up. It's not like super painful. It's a little like, it makes you wince a little bit, but nothing like terrible. But just a reminder, like, bro, this shit. Falling ain't toll free. Falling ain't toll free, but this little pain that I have that's gonna go away in a day or two was worth the jump in the long run. So, man. I don't know. A part of me is like, I should keep this going for 40 minutes because I know you guys, the fans, you guys, I know you like the longer ones, but this is a lot. This is a lot. I don't even know what I could talk about to fill the time. Okay, you know what? Let's move on to something fucking a little lighter. Kevin Durant and the Nets. Let's talk about that. I mean, I think at this point, it's pretty obvious to tell that Kevin Durant is staying with Brooklyn. I mean, if I'm Brooklyn, why trade him? Why trade him? If I'm Brooklyn, I'm looking at him like, bro, we did everything you asked us to do. We brought Kyrie. We brought DeAndre Jordan. We got rid of Kenny Atkinson, who went on to win the title with the Warriors as assistant coach. We got rid of him for Steve Nash, who, honestly, I can't tell if he's a good coach or not. Maybe he's not, or maybe he's just hamstrung by the decisions that, like, he has to play a certain way because this is what Katie and Kyrie want. They got the coach they wanted. They mortgaged their future to get Harden. All because Durant asked. And the Durant asked for a trade with 4 years left on his deal. Hey, bro, you finish what you started. We gave you it's not like the front office made bad decisions in terms of what's good for the club, yes. But they made the decisions that you wanted. So you are the captain of the ship. So you will go down with the sinking ship. That's how I feel. This ain't like the time you went to Golden State where you were a free agent, could go to wherever you want. No. Now you want to get off a sinking ship, and you created that holes in that ship. Stay in Brooklyn. That's how I would feel if I was Joe Tsai. Play through your mistakes, or we'll trade you, but only if we get a king's ransom for you. A Rudy Gobert's ransom for you. Otherwise, you're staying here. Because if we're not going to win, your name is going to at least put butts in seats. I'm all power to the player. I love the players. I love that the players have this much power. But sometimes, bro, you got to make your own bed and you got to sit in it. He said, the leadership in Brooklyn is weak. He said that, hey, KD, you're the leadership in Brooklyn. That being said, I'm a Warriors fan and I love KD. But come on, bro. Come on. This one, if legacy matters, this year really hurt KD's legacy in a way that, like, with Steph winning and then the trade. I don't think KD asked for a trade if Steph don't win. I think that's also real too. I think Steph winning just made KD kind of go crazy. Like, damn, they won one without me. After KD had been liking all those tweets about how Steph can't win without KD, even though he won one before KD. And now he won one after. But yeah, man. Yeah, man. See, KD jumped off that cliff. And now he's mad he's underwater. And it's like, bro, you jumped off the cliff. You can't be mad you're underwater. You made the choice. You have to live with the consequences of your decision. What I'm saying, KD, is just keep swimming, and you will see a light at the end of that. You will breathe air. Whether or not your breath of fresh air is you win another title, maybe that's not it. Or maybe your breath of fresh air is like, man, I tried to lead it on my own, and the real finals trophy was the friends we made along the way. It's probably not how you think of your KD, but maybe, you know? I don't know. Post cliff jump? Like post cliff jump Hassan? Different Hassan, baby. Post cliff jump Hassan is out here doing good. And yeah, just remember, guys, the air is closer than you think. The air is closer than you think. So just keep swimming, keep coming up, and remember, the person you are after the fall is better than the person before the fall, as long as you keep swimming and finding air. And if you're in a tough spot, just remember that. For me, I love you, infidels. I'll see you soon.